Yo, what's good, man? MBS Central, MBS Uncensored. We're back at it again, man. You're on here as much as I am now.
Hey man, I'm building my Hall of Fame resume. Oh,
Right, maybe. But yeah, that's true. Extra sports junkie, man. I'm Keo. So today, man, I'm doing my normal routine, what I normally do. I'm scrolling by the news. I see the notification, and when I found out what happened, my jaws dropped, man. I thought it was so big of a news. Carmelo Anthony, man, is elected as a first ballot NBA Hall of Famer. Some people love it as far as like the big time Carmelo fans, and some people, there are some people out there saying, okay, maybe not. What? Really? We already talked about off air, but we're gonna get into it now. I really wanted to talk about this. You were avoiding this from me this entire time, but I'm glad we on here.
oh boy,
Um,
bruh, stop. Oh, bruh, you embarrassing
uh, but
yourself.
yeah, but with that being said, man, Carmelo Anthony, man, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's in the 2025 class. Is he a deserving first ballot Hall of Famer?
Absolutely. So let me start by saying congratulations to Carmelo Anthony. A phenomenal career. Let me start by also saying a lot of people that I've spoken to that feel the way that some of the people that you mentioned feel, as far as is he a first ballot, is he not? And I think a lot of people that are unaware. I'm not gonna say they just don't know sports like that. I'm gonna just say unaware. A lot of people think that the Basketball Hall of Fame is the NBA Hall of Fame. It is not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Naismith Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame. And when it comes to Carmelo Anthony, without question, he is definitely deserving of being a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I mean, I hate when people say first ballot Hall of Famer because I have a question for you. The question that you have to ask yourself: is he a Hall of Famer? Yes or no? If you got to think about it, then the chances are, they're probably not really a Hall of Famer. When it comes to Carmelo Anthony, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about it. If you say, is he a Hall of Famer? The answer is yes. Carmelo Anthony, um, going back to his Syracuse days, at that time, freshmen were not winning the NCAA tournament. They were not winning the NCAA tournament. You know, it was a lot of led by seniors and juniors. Carmelo Anthony led the Syracuse Orangemen to their first and only national championship. Jim Boeheim is a Hall of Fame type coach, and his one championship as far as a head coach at Syracuse came with Carmelo Anthony. So let's talk about that. He was the most outstanding player at Syracuse as far as in the Final Four. He averaged 20 and 10 in that Final Four run. He shot 40, I think like 48% from three in that run. Carmelo Anthony ended up being the third pick in the draft. Now he should have been the second pick. I actually did a video of saying, the biggest what if in sports is the Pistons win the championship and they have a chance to draft Carmelo Anthony and they drafted Darko Milicic. Shout out to him, but we always wonder about if they would have drafted Carmelo Anthony. He went behind a guy by the name of LeBron James, who's without question going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer one day. That draft class was loaded. D Wade, Chris Bosh, Carmelo Anthony went third in that draft. So shout out to him, man. So again, like I said, they retired his number at Syracuse. One funny thing about people don't really remember about that team, I want to say they were not ranked going into the start of that season. Syracuse wasn't even ranked. And then they turned out to be the best team that season and win the national championship. I didn't think they were going to beat Oklahoma and Hollis Price. I know you remember that. Hollis Price at
Mm.
Oklahoma was nasty. And Carmelo Anthony them, that 2-3 zone by Jim Boeheim, they ran it to perfection. Hakeem Warwick, Jerry McNamara was on that team. That was a really good team, but it was all spearheaded by Carmelo Anthony. We make no mistake about it. Carmelo Anthony was the leader of that team. So yeah, most improved player. I mean, most outstanding player of that Final Four. So that's where it starts, and then you go to that being drafted number 3 in the draft, which, like I said, he should have been number 2. But then to play 19 seasons and have the career he had. Yes, he didn't have great postseason um, success. I will give anybody that wants to say that out there for sure. But you have to remember, he played in the era with Shaq, Kobe, um, Tim Duncan, LeBron James, D Wade. That was a tough era, and a lot of teams were, you know, you had the Boston Celtics that got together and made a super team. LeBron played for a bunch of super teams. I didn't even mention Steph Curry in them. So when I look at it, I said to myself, okay, maybe he didn't win a championship, maybe he didn't have the postseason success, but he went to the postseason 13 times out of the 19 years. I have no issue with that. Towards the back end of his career, he wasn't the man no more on that team. He was the 75 greatest players of all time um, when they did the 75 and the 75th anniversary of the NBA. If you're gonna say he's one of the best 75 players ever in NBA history, he has to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And
Mm.
then, with all that being said, in the Olympics, there's only one guy that has more gold medals than Carmelo Anthony. It's not Michael Jordan. It's not LeBron James. It's Kevin Durant. Carmelo Anthony has 3 gold medals. He has 4 medals total, like LeBron, but Carmelo played phenomenal in the Olympics. Um, so when you take that as a totality and say from college, NBA, and then Olympics run, dog, he's no doubt a first ballot Hall of Famer. The only 2 stains you can say is he didn't win a championship, which there's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame that didn't win a championship. And the second, that he didn't have great postseason success. But there's a lot of guys that didn't have great postseason success, especially playing in the Jordan era or the Magic and Bird era. So I don't hold that against him that much. Um, 10-time All Star, 6-time All NBA team, whether it was second or third, scoring title champion. He did that in what, 2013. So, dog, elite scorer. I think he's top. Is he top 10 still? He might not be top 10 anymore. He
Last
was
time I
top 10.
checked, he was top 10.
Okay, so top 10 scorer of all time, elite scorer, can post you up, can get to the rim, can shoot the three, can hit the mid range. He had no holes when it came to scoring. Elite scorer, no doubt. Well, for anybody saying that Carmelo Anthony's not a Hall of Famer, I don't even take you serious when it comes to
All
basketball.
right, man. That's enough. Enough. All right. Obviously, we could tell you're a Carmelo Anthony
It's
fan.
not about being a fan. It's about knowing the game. That's why they call me a sports junkie.
Well, I knew the game also. So okay, let me get this right though, man. So people don't get it misconstrued
Please
what I'm
change your
saying.
mind and say
S-
something right, bro. Don't
So
say nothing
so
crazy.
so so Carmelo Anthony is a Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer. Now, if you're telling me if he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, I'm just not buying that. I'm just not sold on that. When I look at him as a when I look as it's calling Carmelo Anthony a first ballot Hall of Famer is calling Eli Manning a first ballot Hall of Famer. I
No, that's
just
not even the
don't
same.
I just yeah, it is the same. I just don't believe that. I just don't believe that. When I think of first ballot, I think of like Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. I think of those. I just think he wasn't on that level though. I think his greatest accomplishment, I think the thing that people bring up the most when it comes about Carmelo Anthony is what he did in Syracuse. Syracuse was a good team, man. they had like you said, they had Hakeem Warwick, they had Jerry McNamara. It was, I wouldn't say Carmelo was the main reason though. He was a huge focal
He
point.
was, come on,
He
man.
was a
You don't
huge
know, bro.
he was a huge focal point during that time though, man. And I didn't expect Syracuse to get to where they're at. And he did accomplish a lot in that very first year in Syracuse. I'm not gonna knock that. And I think that's the only thing that I think that's what people bring up the most when it comes to Carmelo Anthony. Now, as far as the Olympics go, you could get an Olympic medal, and you don't even have to be such an importance on that team.
Okay, but hold up. Let me stop you right there because I think the only two players that scored more points than Carmelo in Olympic history. I may be wrong, but I know Kevin Durant's one. I think LeBron's two, and it's Carmelo that's two. I think that there's nobody else that even scored more than Melo outside of Kevin. Kevin Durant has four gold medals.
Well, of course you're gonna get more points though because you played in the most freaking gold
Hey, I'm just
Olympic
I think
games.
Melo has like 336 points. I'm just saying, bro, like Melo wasn't alone for the ride when he got the medals. It wasn't like somebody like, and this is no, I'm a Duke fan. This is nothing like Christian Laettner on the Dream Team just getting the medal. Carmelo distributed was a focal point of those teams that won gold medals. We're not gonna sit up here and act like Carmelo wasn't, on the team distributing or helping distribute W's to the USA team. We're not doing that.
Now, going to his NBA career, that's where the car stops for me when it comes to his NBA career. Man, Carmelo Anthony has played with a lot of all-stars, man. We scrutinize LeBron about the all stars that he played against. He played against defensive. He had teammates that was defensive player of the years, six man of the years,
Oh God.
all stars. Got he had Allen Iverson. He when they were
Come on, man.
yeah,
Come
he
on,
did. He
bro.
did. He did. Allen
Okay,
Iverson,
hold on, hold on, hold
Chauncey
on, hold on.
Billups,
Hold on.
Tyson Chandler.
I'm not knocking Chauncey Billups. I'm not even knocking Allen Iverson to an extent, but that wasn't Allen Iverson in Philly.
No,
We're not
no,
we're
but
not doing.
their first year together though, they were like top five in scoring though.
Yeah, but I'm saying it wasn't AI in Philly. And then when you mentioned he played with a lot of All Stars, I'm thinking Denver, New York, all the other stuff when Melo played for OKC, Portland, LA. Bro, we not doing that.
No, I'm not
We
even counting that. I'm talking about the
Denver and
New York.
New York. Okay, okay.
He had Amari Stoudemire. He had J.R. Smith, who was a six man of the year. Tyson Chandler during his time, he was a six man of the year. Then in
Or any of those guys gonna, and I'm not saying they're not. I'm not, because I know AI is. But and Billups should be if he ain't. I might be tripping. Billups might be already inducted. But who's the Hall of Famers that he's playing with? Don't give me the guys that won Six Man of the Year. Tell me the Hall of
Hall
Famers.
of Hall of Famers that he played with, I think Chauncey is a Hall of Famer,
That's what I
man.
think. I agree. I think Chauncey Billups is underrated.
The reason why Chauncey was, I feel like he was a Hall of Fame because you know what he did in Detroit. Then as soon as he came to Denver, uh, Denver was struggling. They were getting first round exits left and right. As soon as he came on that team and the trade with Allen Iverson, they went straight to the Western Conference Finals. For the first time, and that's the furthest he went. Carmelo Anthony has probably more first round exits than the Cleveland Browns have quarterbacks since 2020. They had a lot of first round exits.
Okay, well, Tracy McGrady has a lot of first round exits too.
Yeah, but we're calling him a first ballot Hall of Famer
You
though.
don't think Tracy McGrady is a first ballot Hall of Famer?
No, I don't think he's a first ballot. He's a Hall of Famer, but not a first ballot. He's not on that level, man. And I just and I'm just not I'm just not sold on him as a first ballot Hall of Famer. Don't get me wrong, he's a Hall of Famer, but he's just not a
Okay, so
first ballot.
I'm gonna put it out there to the world, and this is no disrespect to this guy because I think he's a Hall of Famer. But let's bring out Paul Pierce, right? Let's talk about Paul Pierce. You think Paul Pierce is a first ballot Hall of Famer? Am I
Yeah, I
correct?
think he is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's three. We're not talking about the NBA. This is not the NBA Hall of Fame. Now, again, this
Yeah,
is not
yeah,
the
you're
NBA.
right.
Okay, so what I'm simply asking you is, Paul Pierce didn't have the college career Carmelo had, nor did he have the Olympic career Carmelo had. He does have the ring over Carmelo in the NBA, but that's two out of the three. I know majority of it is definitely the NBA. I understand that, but you acting like Carmelo Anthony wasn't one of them ones in the NBA. That's where my disconnect is. I'm simply saying the body of work, Carmelo should be a Hall of Famer.
He is a Hall of Famer, just
No,
not
I'm
the first
saying he should be
ballot.
first ballot.
I'm not sold on first ballot though, man. This he just got too many blunders for me to call him a first ballot Hall of
James
Famer.
Harden's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
James Harden.
Come on, man. Come on. James Harden's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I
I don't
think
have
when
to think about that.
I think
That's common
he's
sense.
he's a Hall of Famer.
Bro, what are we doing out here in these streets, man?
Man,
Russell Westbrook, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Westbrook, he's definitely a first
Oh,
ballot
okay,
Hall
okay.
of Famer.
I know Melo don't have the MVP. I understand that. I'm just simply saying when you look at all those guys, they never won a championship. You know, we brought up Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller never won a championship. John Stockton never won a championship, nor did he win an MVP. I know he has crazy stats when it comes to assists and steals. I get all that. But I'm just simply saying, dog, come on, man. What are we doing, Melo? Come on,
I
man.
think people look at it as in like the value of his name, and when you hear, Mello was a very popular name, and when you think of the value of the name, people it's going to be like, yeah, he is a Hall of Famer.
I
I
don't have to, but I don't have to think about that. That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, like there's guys that had really good careers, but can't even hold uh no type of weight towards Carmelo's career. Carmelo was a 10-time All-Star, bruh. What are we talking about here? There's some guys that can't play 10 years in the league.
Yeah, but I just him be okay. So him being as high of a draft pick as he was,
He
I
lived up
just
to the
don't
hype.
think he lived up. I don't think he lived up to the hype and
Dude, if I tell
his
you, okay, hold up,
potential.
hold up. Oh, no, 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 we're not doing that. We're not doing that because now I'm about to do this. Okay, if Cooper Flag is the number one pick in the draft, and let's just say Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey's two or three, if they become a 10-time All-Star and a top 10 player all time in scoring, you're gonna tell me they didn't live up to the hype? Man, get out of here, bro. That's living up to the hype. That is definitely living up to the hype.
Carmelo Anthony, he's coming off of a championship with Syracuse, a top pick with the classes of with LeBron and D Wade. He just doesn't have that title, man, and
Not
it just
everybody's gonna win, Keo. Not everybody's gonna win, bro. Not
no
everybody.
title, no MVPs. Like, come on,
No,
man.
you play in
At least have
LeBron's
get one of them.
era.
So when I look at this, man, there's three things I look for when it comes to being a Hall of Famer. I look at the film, the eye test, and obviously your stats. The
Check, check,
eye
check.
No, it's not checked. The eye test is definitely a check. The film, I'll probably give it a pass. He definitely have the stats because he was definitely a stat pattern throughout his career, and I just feel like he got a pass a lot throughout his career. He was never held accountable throughout his
He was,
career.
bro. People kept saying Melo kind of had the same aura around him as James Harden has around him, somewhat similar. That's why I brought up James Harden. Yeah, you score a lot. Yeah, you got gaudy numbers, but you never won anything. Same. That's why I brought up Russell Westbrook. That's why I brought up all those guys because they never won. Yeah, they won MVP, but I'm talking about a championship. So I just think that though, when I look at Carmelo, bro, he played in the era of Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. Dog, what do you want from him? He's not gonna win. He's not gonna win.
Well, if we consider,
Everybody can't win.
but we if we consider him the best and one of the
He's one of
greatest
the best.
ever,
He's one of the best.
if we consider the best and one of the greatest ever, we can't we can't we can't ignore the fact that he wasn't able to do that. It wasn't never like he never had a good team with him. He
No,
never
he
had a good
did for
roster. He
sure.
had all stars. He had good coaches around him.
But
Yeah, and
I
I just
still,
think
okay,
that
like,
he's gotten a pass a lot.
okay, but what I'm saying is the guys that he played with in the era. If I name somebody, you're probably gonna say that those guys are top 20 players all time. I'm not saying Melo's top 20 all time. I'm simply saying in the era he played, you can make a case that the guys, if I throw out a name like a LeBron, you're going to say he's either one or two or in that realm of 1 to 5. I know some people don't like LeBron, but he's a top 5 player all time. Steph Curry's arguably the greatest point guard of all time. Carmelo played in that era.
Mhm.
Kevin Durant is probably the greatest scorer of all time in NBA history. I know LeBron has the numbers, but I'm just saying when you think about just flat out score, Kevin Durant is nasty. So I'm simply telling you, Kobe Bryant, one of the best players of all time. That's who he couldn't get past in a lot of those runs. He couldn't beat the Lakers. He couldn't beat Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki's one of the greatest European players of all time. Like Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan. He had dudes that was in front of him that dog, you could bring up the Tyson Chandlers of the world. You could bring up all the other guys that you want to bring up. At the end of the day, he wasn't going to beat those teams because those teams have multiple Hall of Famers on those teams with Hall of Fame coaches, a lot of them. No, I'm not. Melo is a Hall of Famer, bro.
He
No
is a
doubt
Hall
about
of
it.
Famer, but not a
Come
first ballot
on,
Hall of
bro.
Famer,
Come
man.
on, bro.
Dude, he's all time his usage rating, he has the eighth highest of all time. The guys above him, you had the LeBrons, the Kobe's, guys like that, and his efficiency was pretty much mediocre, man. And he was a I consider him as a guy that was a very high volume shooter, man. He was a high volume shooter.
He was.
When he became a Nick, he started to shoot more. And I kind of felt like he was a problem everywhere he went. Like
A problem?
okay, when he was in New York, when Linsanity happened,
Oh,
shout
that. Oh, now we get down to the root of it. Now, hey, I knew there had to be something. I knew it had to be something. Why you was poking? I finally got to the root of it. That is why Keel is not giving Mello his flowers today. That is why shout to Insanity, man. Jeremy Lin. Hey, definitely incredible run. I get where you going with this one. Okay, I understand, but no, let's not take away from Melo's moment. Bro, Melo was a phenomenal player. Maybe he's not LeBron, maybe he's not Kobe, but we're not gonna sit up here and act like Melo's not a Hall of Famer, bro. And I
he
know you
is
can
a
say,
Hall of Famer. I
but
keep
no,
saying that.
I'm saying I don't have to say first ballot, second ballot, third ballot. I just simply said to myself, name a player, and I'm gonna tell you right now if they're Hall of Famer. James Harden, Hall of Famer. Russell Westbrook, Hall of Famer. Nikola Jokic, Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah,
Giannis
yeah.
Antetokounmpo,
I agree. I agree with
Hall
you
of
on
Famer. I
that.
don't need first ballot. I don't need second ballot. Chris Paul, Hall of Famer. I don't have to think about those things. These
What
guys
what
are just Hall of
but
Famers.
this how I look at it. I look at it in battle rap terms, man. You got your okay, you have the Hall of Famers. Like in battle rap, you have your your top tiers, with what you whatever they call it. They have the top tiers, but then they got another
God,
level.
I
That
know.
the god tiers. You know, you got like the loaded luxes, the freaking the murder mooks. You know, got guys like that. And
But
then
Dwayne Wade actually brought that up recently. Dwayne Wade said, after the 25th floor, he can't go up to the 30th floor where the Jordans, the LeBrons are sitting at. And, people, I know Stephen A was like, well, Dwayne Wade, stop being humble. Yeah, you can go up to that floor. Maybe Melo can't go up to that floor. I agree with you on that. But to sit here and say just because he can't go up to the God tier floor doesn't mean that he shouldn't be in the building. Melo should definitely be in the building, and
no,
that building is the Hall of Fame.
he is in the building, just not the first ballot building.
Come on, man.
That's when I think
Yeah,
of
hey,
first.
your gripe is Jeremy Lin. Now I know why your gripe is your beef with Carmelo Anthony. You showed your hand. You showed your hand. I just had to wait long enough for you to say it.
Carmelo Anthony was really jealous of that. Jeremy Lin was getting the attention that he was getting, and I kind of felt like he was jealous because Carmelo Anthony is like the guy that wants the spotlight. I seen an interview where Chauncey Billups said that he said that Carmelo Anthony, it means more to him to score 30 points a game and to actually lose it instead of scoring 22 and they win. And that came from Chauncey Billups' mouth, man,
I
his
didn't see
own
that. I
teammate
didn't.
that
I
said
didn't see
that.
that interview. I'm not saying that you're lying, but I never saw that interview. It's hard for me to believe that, but I'm not saying that it's untrue what you just said. I'm just simply saying, man, I just hate the fact that you're on this in his moment. Right now, it's his moment, and I feel like you're trying to tear the man down because you have a beef because he went at your boy Jeremy Lin. Wow, wow, Kia. You never
it
seem
was.
so amazing, man. Look
It
at you
wasn't.
are.
It wasn't just because of that. Even freaking when his time in OKC, he was like, "Yo, I'm not coming off the bench for anybody."
That's him believing in his talent. I understand, at the end of the day, it's a team sport. I get it, but I'm just sitting there simply saying, man, Melo, man. Hey, I don't have to even say Carmelo Anthony. That right there tells you that he's a Hall of Famer. I don't have
When you
to
say
say
mellow, well,
Melo.
when I when they say mellow, I think of LaMelo Ball,
I knew,
man.
I knew,
That guy
I,
is a hooper right
I,
now.
I knew I knew you would say something silly like that, but we know what's up, man. You grew up in the era where if you hear the name Mello, you thinking Carmelo Anthony.
No,
Come on.
you're right. You're right about that.
Hey, let me
So
ask you this, Keo. I know we talked about Cooper Flag being the greatest Duke player of all time. Duke's a basketball school. Syracuse a basketball school, correct? In your opinion?
yeah, they're more of a basketball school.
Who's the greatest player to ever come from Syracuse? Come on, Keo. Hey, hey, shout out to Derek Coleman, like I said on the NBA show. Shout out to
The
John
greatest
Wallace.
Syracuse.
Jason Hart, all these guys, I get all that. Hakeem Ward, Greg McNamara, even Stephen A. Smith's boy, Dwayne, the Pearl, Washington. If you go on anything, if you want to look on any site, they're gonna put Carmelo Anthony as the greatest Syracuse player of all time.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Um,
okay, so that's a basketball school. He's the greatest player from that school, and you're telling me he's not a first ballot? Wow.
Once again, the only thing that people could make an argument and
Hey, but
brag about
that's a
is
part of it
what
though.
Carmelo did in Syracuse, man.
That's a part of it though, Keo. That is. You're trying to
That's
erase it because you have a beef because he got into I guess a little beef with Jeremy Lin, and you're trying to stop.
that's
Yeah.
25. That's actually 25% of it.
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, just because what he did in college, it doesn't define him to be a Hall of Famer.
Dog, it's the body of work in basketball. What he's brought to the okay, can we talk about college basketball from the beginning of college basketball to this very moment and not mention Carmelo Anthony and Syracuse?
No, you gotta
No, you
mention.
gotta
You got
mention
yeah, you
that. That's
gotta
a part of
mention
the
it.
story.
You gotta mention it. That's his greatest accomplishment right there. What
Hey,
he did in
maybe so, but
Syracuse.
that's a part of the story. That's a part of the story. And I'm just here to tell you, man, if that's a part of the story and that's his legacy, you can't take that away from his legacy. Now, everything else, he built on it. 10-time All-Star, 4-time Olympic gold medalist. He built on that. His resume says that he's Hall of Famer, bro.
Yeah, he
First
is a Hall of
ballot.
Famer. No, he's not a first ballot, man. I just can't you have to be elite. You gotta be great to do that. I just don't think he impacted the game like that, man.
Okay. I mean, hey, we can agree to disagree, man. We can agree to
I mean,
disagree. I think
he definitely has the numbers to support it, and he's definitely a huge figure in Syracuse, but I just don't see it for now, man. Maybe years to come, maybe I'll come to a realization that he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's just missing those titles, man.
but that
Maybe if he had an MVP, I probably would have gave him that, man. It just there was just too many dynamics around him for him be to not even go to the NBA finals or even win it. Just he had a lot of talent around him. And I feel like he didn't take advantage of that.
Spurs, Lakers, Mavs. He wasn't coming out the West, my brother.
Well, if a guy, when you're a top lottery pick, you have high
I
expectations
never
for
said he was
yourself.
better than Kobe. Never said he was better than Tim Duncan. Never said, at the end of the day, he was better than LeBron or none of those guys. I just simply, or Steph Curry. I'm just here to tell you, bro, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer as far as his whole
I mean,
catalog, resume.
his game doesn't say first ballot though, because he was a horrible defensive player,
Dog has one
cherry
push,
picker.
bruh. I,
Um,
I'm not even disagreeing with you on that. Dennis Rodman's in the Hall of Fame. You want to talk about his offensive game? So everybody has their niche. So like I just feel like you picking on Melo because of his defense, but Dennis Rodman, his thing was rebounding, defense. And that's what he did. And guess what? It got him to the Hall of Fame. It got him there.
well, what
Everybody has their thing. The Kimbe Mutombo, God rest his soul, man, defense. That was his thing. Everybody has their thing, my brother. Melo was an elite scorer.
on the offensive side, I just don't think he impacted the game though, man. Like on the offensive side, the way Steph Curry has impacted the game, like
But you compare
he
him to Steph Curry. Like, look what you like what that's what you're doing. You're trying to bring up the ghost of this stuff. Bro, you wild, bro.
well, I mean, we could be on here forever, but
Forever.
yeah. Well, you got your opinion. I got mine. I can't wait to put this out.
Yeah, hey, shout out, tag Mello on this. Shout out to Carmelo, man. Listen, it's been truly, truly an honor and a privilege to watch your entire career. I've watched you since you was actually in high school at Oak Hill Academy. Um, Taking on Bron. If you remember that. I don't know if you remember that. So I look at Carmelo's whole catalog and I said to myself, man, it's truly been an honor to watch him all these years. I think that it's very well deserved that he's in the Hall of Fame. And at the end of the day, bro, at the end of the day, he didn't get that championship, but it doesn't diminish what he did on the basketball court
No, I
since
mean,
picking up the
yeah.
ball.
I mean, you right though. I am gonna congratulate him. I'm not no hater, man. I am gonna congratulate him what he accomplished because he was the reason why I feel like I'm able to or even qualified to speak on it because I've watched his entire career, man, from not in high school, but when what he did in Syracuse as a freshman, and then all the way to his time with Denver when he had AI on his team, guys like Kenyon Martin going to New York, going to OKC, Portland, the Lakers, yeah, all those teams I was able to follow him. So, I kind of view it differently, and I just had more higher of a expect expectation for him
Bro, what?
because I felt like I felt like he should have been where LeBron and D Wade's at right now and what they've done. And he just it was that damn contract he signed. That was the huge mistake. He should have just followed. He could have just followed freaking LeBron and D Wade. He could have had some titles under his belt, man. But he decided to sign that 5-year contract guaranteed. And I felt like that was the huge mistake that it's gonna haunt him for the rest of his life.
No, he's taking care of his family.
He is, he is.
His son's going to Syracuse.
Yeah,
I
true.
mean, at the end of the day, man, everybody can't win a championship. I was the biggest Reggie Miller fan growing up. I had a lot of heartbreaks,
Yeah,
in the
but what do you think?
playoffs.
But what do you think of 3-point shooters, though, man? Reggie Miller pops up when you think of all-time elite scorers. Carmelo Anthony isn't one of the first names that pop up for me.
He just gonna continue bashing. My shout outs go to you, Keo, even though you're wilding tonight. Shout out to Jeremy Lin too, by the way.
Yes,
Wherever
sir.
he's
Shout out
at.
to my Asian people, man.
Hey,
Harvard, baby.
hey, for sure. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody at the MBS brand. Y'all know what we do. Yvonne, C, J, y'all should have pulled up for this one. Love to hear y'all take. Kill you wildin' though. But again, congrats to Carmelo Anthony, man.
Yeah, congratulations to Carmelo Anthony, man, and whatever he decides to do the rest moving forward. But with that being said, man, this is MBS Uncensored. I'm Keo. That's X. Until then, we'll see you guys next time.